Good morning. I'm Bearded Ink, and a lot of people have asked me how I get the special effects and sounds and control over my entire Twitch streams. And the answer is I only use OBS and a little robot called Streamer.bot. I'm going to take you through the complete download, install, setup, and the first command use of Streamer.bot. When you open OBS, depending on your version, which will be found up in the top left-hand corner, you may or may not already have Websockets installed. If you have OBS 28 or 29, OBS WebSocket 5 is already included and there's no extra downloads or installs needed, but you will need to configure it. For OBS version 27, you will need to use WebSocket 4.9.1, which was the last version released for OBS 27. If you don't know if you already have WebSockets installed or not, it's really easy to check. Inside OBS, you want to click on your tools and you want to look here, and if there's nothing that says WebSockets, you do not have WebSockets installed, and we will need to get that. So you want to go to your browser and you want to type in OBS WebSocket 4.9.1, and then you can go to the first obsproject.com website release there. But what we're looking for, because of the new versions of OBS that are out, you'll see this is 5.0.1 on the download page. So I want to scroll down a little bit until you see 4.9.1. Click on this, and then we're going to see at the bottom of the information panel for 4.9.1 is the GitHub link. Go ahead and click on that. And this will take you to the download page for WebSocket 4.9.1. What we're going to do now is you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom till you get to the assets and find the Windows installer, and go ahead and click and download that. Save it somewhere that you're going to know where to find it easily. Usually this is going to be your desktop. Once it is downloaded, you're going to want to install it. You will need to first close your iteration of OBS. So make sure that everything there is minimized and that you close OBS completely so that the install can go and install the files that are needed to incorporate into OBS. Once the install is complete, you can reopen OBS, and once it opens, it'll tell you that it is installed, and you need to configure it with a password to connect to the WebSocket server. You don't have to connect or create a password, but it is highly recommended, so I say yes. And then all you have to do is replace the dots with your chosen password. For example, I'm just going to type "this is my password" because that is very safe and secure and strong for this tutorial purpose. You will notice that the server port is 4444. This is very important. Make sure that WebSockets is enabled, authentication is enabled, and then the other three options you can leave as default if you need to. You don't need the debug logging, etc., etc. Click on OK, and because the port is already in use because of what I'm using, that's fine. But what we can then do is go to your WebSocket server settings, and you can change the port to something that is not being used and see if that works. And then you may get a Windows firewall saying that it allow access, let it through the firewall. That way everything can connect. So once you have WebSocket server installed, everything is good to go. Now we're ready for Streamer.bot. To get Streamer.bot, you just need to go to the website, which we can close these down, and that is Streamer.bot. Makes it very easy. You're going to come to this page, and there will be two downloads. You can see Streamer.bot and Twitch Speaker. We're only going to worry about the bot for right now. So you want to click on this. It'll give you the latest version, which as of this recording is 0.1.14. It'll come in a zip folder. And here's what's great about Streamer.bot is it is a standalone program. So You can install it on a thumb drive. You can install it on an external drive. It doesn't need to actually install into your hardware. It runs out of the folder that you downloaded. Once you open the extracted folder, that's all you need to do to run and have the program. Now, I highly recommend that you rename the container folder to something that you know. For example, I've renamed mine to Streamer.bot 14 for this version, and I've moved it to a specific spot on my hard drive. You can actually download multiples and have multiple iterations. Whereas for example, I have one on my hard drive that I run daily with my streams, and then for tutorial purposes such as this, I have a standalone version on a thumb drive, and I also have a testing version to test the betas and alpha releases of the bot, and I have that as a standalone on a third hard drive, and I can run them all at the same time as long as they're not all trying to connect to everything together. Once you have that open, you look for the Streamer.bot.exe, and this is the executable file that you're going to use to run the bot. Once you have your folder in place where you want it on your hard drive, I would recommend that you create a shortcut to this on your desktop or in your start menu, whatever makes it easiest for you to get to. That way you don't have to come and browse for this exact file every time you want to run the bot. But for our purposes, we've just downloaded, we've extracted it, and now we're going to run the bot. Double click on the exe. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to connect it to your Twitch account. So we're going to come in, and you're going to notice that there's tabs at the top, and each one of these tabs has different actions and subcategories beneath it. For right now, the first thing you want to do is click on the Platforms tab, and then you will see that this can connect to Twitch or to YouTube, or both if you have both. So you want to go to the Twitch tab, and then here again we have different subcategories, and the first thing you want to do is go to the Accounts on the second subcategory line. Click on the Accounts tab, and here you will see your broadcaster account. That's your main account, and that's what we're going to set up first. And all you have to do is click on the Connect to Twitch, and it's going to open up the web browser, the authorization panel, as you can see here. So just verify at the top that it is your main account. In this case, Bearded Ink is me. It is me. I'm going to authorize the app. This will tell you that it is logged in successfully and that you can close this web page. So you close the web page, and then you will see that your name is populated in the account. Now, this bot has the option to send messages to chat and to run actions and such from your bot account. So if you have a Twitch bot account, which is basically just a second account that you have made a moderator in your chat, you can do that. I do have other information about connecting and creating a Twitch bot account. If you want to know more, leave a comment below, let me know, and I will write up a quick tutorial on how to use your robot account for commands and actions in your own chat. If you're familiar with like the Stream Elements bot, they have the option where if you go and download and use all their tools, they will let you use a bot account instead of the Stream Elements, so that the name in your chat shows up as something that you want. I have my robot account, which is named Robot Bearded. He's the one that posts all the stuff in my chat for me, and it goes through the same process. You're just going to click on the Connect to Twitch chat, but this time you're going to sign in as your robot account. Okay, so now that your accounts are connected, now we need to connect Streamer.bot to OBS. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to come to the Stream Apps tab. This is where you're going to connect your bot to OBS through the WebSocket connection that we made earlier. So you want to come into the top blank area. You want to right click and choose the Add option. Here we are going to give it a name. I'm going to just call this OBS. You can select the version. So again, if you're using OBS 27 and you went through the download process of WebSockets 4.9.1, you're going to connect to the v4.9. If you're on OBS 28 or 29, WebSockets 5 is what you're going to use. And yes, you can connect to both. So for our purposes, we're going to go to 4.9.1. And then this is the same stuff that you have in your OBS setup. So if you don't remember, you can go here, click on WebSocket servers. Remember, we port 4450 on this case because I already have 4444 in use. You probably won't have to do that. Come back into Streamer.bot, make sure that the port is the same, the password is the same. This is my password. We want to auto connect on startup, reconnect on a disconnect, and click OK. Then it'll try to connect. And once it's connected, you will see over here on the right hand side the scenes that it can find and what is in those scenes, the stream status, and that lets you know that it is connected. And now we are good to go. We are ready to have the bot work for us. So let's now take you through a simple lurk command setup so you can kind of get a basic idea of how this works. Now we want to click on the Actions tab. Now I'm not going to go through everything in Streamer.bot. There are already plenty of tutorials out there that cover all of this stuff, especially by VR Flawed and other people in the Streamer.bot Discord community. So I'm just going to cover some basic things real quick. So first thing you want to do is you have actions and sub-actions. The actions are what is called by your commands, by your scripting, or by actions that you take inside OBS. The sub-actions are what run when those actions are called. So the first thing you have to do is create a new action. So again, just like everything else in this, you're going to right click and you can choose add, and then we give our action a name. So for this example, we're going to say it's a lurk command. You can give it a group if you want to. Groups are a way that you can connect. You can see here, these all are my groups. So I have various groups which have various number of actions inside of them. If you don't want to give it a group, you don't have to, and it'll just go to the default code. This one, for example, we'll call it testing group. The queue is if you want it to wait for other things to run or not. We don't, so just leave it as the default, and then we click OK. So now that we have our group with our lurk command in it, we're going to click on the lurk command, and then you're going to come over to the sub actions side. Now, when somebody types in !lurk in your chat, you want to trigger this command. So what is it going to do? Basically, what happens is you auto respond with a message thanking them for the lurk and their support, and hope that they come back soon to chat again or something like this. So what we're going to do in the sub actions panel now is you're going to right click and you're going to add sub action. When you hover over, you will see everything that is currently built into the Streamer.bot by default. And there's a whole bunch of things, and we're going to go all the way down to Twitch. And in Twitch, we can do a whole bunch of things in Twitch. And in our instance, we're just going to simply have our bot send a message to the chat. So send message to channel, and then you're going to click on this. Now you're going to get a little pop-up here with what you want it to do and what you want it to say. And the first option is which account do you want the message to come from. So if you only have the broadcaster account, this is only going to be the option as broadcaster, which is you. So in chat, it'll say Bearded Ink, sent the message. If you do have connected the bot account, you want your bot to do everything, leave this on bot, and then you're good to go. And then this little thing is where the message comes in, and you can use variables and other things that we can get detailed with later. But for now, our simple message is going to be, thank you for lurking. Please come back and chat again soon. Simple. If you want emotes, you can type in the emote name, that kind of thing as well. And then you click OK. And then the Twitch message will show up in the sub actions. So now we have our sub action inside of our action named lurk command, but it's not connected to any input on chat. So for that, you're going to find the commands tab in the top, and you're going to click on command tab, and we're going to make a new one. So again, you're going to right click and then choose add. And then here you're going to have our command name. So this is going to be what triggers the command. Now, most bots and people on Twitch are used to the exclamation point command name, but you can have it be just the name. You don't need any special characters. You can have it be a hashtag. You can have it be a period, whatever you want. But I suggest you stick with the exclamation point because that is what everybody kind of uses, and you don't want to be that different so that people cannot use your commands without express, knowledge of how you run your thing. So in the commands area, you're just going to type exclamation point lurk, and this is what the command is looking for. So when somebody types this into chat, this is what will trigger the command. Make sure that it is enabled, and then the location area is where this command is looked for. So at the start is the default, and that means, exclamation point lurk is what they've typed in. However, for a lurk command, I suggest that you try to put it on anywhere, because some people do like to say, hey, I've got to go feed the dog, I'm going to be on lurk. And then their lurk is the command. It's at the end, or it's somewhere in the middle. But people often don't always put it at the front. So choose anywhere. I'll leave that up to you. But for most commands that you're going to add and use, you do want them at the start. But for certain ones, you know your community and how they iterate these things out in their chat command or in their chat messages. So leave it anywhere, leave it at start. If it needs to be exactly, which in the exact option means that is the only thing in that message. So, for example, if I put this on exact now and somebody comes in and types exclamation point lurk, see you soon, that is not an exact match because of the see you soon, and it won't fire at all. So be very careful with the exact option. The group here, again, you can make a new group. It's just a way to group your commands. As you can see, I have several groups, various commands all put together. You can leave it blank. It'll go to a default command, or you can just type in a new one. And we're going to do this one again, testing. And then the action is a button. And this is where you're going to click. And then you're going to look for the command you just made. In our instance, we just made one called lurk, and I had to search for mine. There it is. So the lurk command, and you won't have as many as I have, obviously, if this is your first one. But you highlight the one you want, you click select, and it'll show up there now as the lurk command. Now, by default, everybody in your chat can use this command. This is over in the permission side. It is granted to allow all or only those. And then you have group and by user permissions. If you do nothing and leave this completely as it is, everybody can use this command, which for alert command is what we want. The ignore bot account is checked by default. That means that your bot does not trigger the command. So your bot may have a command where it types the word, exactly as somebody else types it. And if they type lurk and then your bot types lurk, you don't want your bot to trigger the lurk response twice and once for itself. The sources are where this is going to trigger. The Twitch message is what we're after. If you're on YouTube, you can also check it for the YouTube message. So in the YouTube chat types lurk, they also get that triggered. And then the cooldown You can have a global cooldown or a user cooldown, and this is in seconds, not milliseconds. That way, you have certain commands. You don't want people to spam them. You can put a 30, 60, 90 second, or whatever many seconds you wish between uses of that command. So once you have all of that configured, you have your alert command, you click OK, and your first command is done. So now when somebody comes into your chat and they type in lurk, the bot will then trigger, "Thank you for lurking. Please come back and chat again soon." As you can see, I have 2 iterations because I have 2 things running at the moment. But that's the message. And when you want to add a new command, remember all you have to do is create an action name. The subactions are what you do with that action, and then your commands are what are done to call the action, to run the subaction, to display whatever it is you would like. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. That's your initial setup. If you have any other questions or want to see me cover anything else in more detail, leave a comment in the section below to let me know, and I will go through them all, and maybe we'll make some more Streamer.bot tutorials. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Enjoy getting to know Streamer.bot. It is very powerful. The learning curve is a little high, but once you've made a couple of commands, you'll understand how everything works a lot better, and then you can start moving everything over from your other bots into Streamer.bot and have one bot control everything you need. Until next time, we'll see ya.